Listen closely, really listen. The belief that you are smart is the very thing that makes you foolish. Sounds upside down, right? But Epictetus said it over 2,000 years ago. You cannot learn what you think you already know. Look around, pause for a second. How many people are still truly learning? How many stay curious, humble, willing to say, I might be wrong? Wisdom isn't automatic. It doesn't come with age, titles, or degrees. It is earned, forged by discipline, by small habits repeated day after day by a mind brave enough to question itself. Today, I am going to walk you through 7 Stoic habits, 7 ways to become clearer, stronger, and far harder to manipulate. These aren't tricks to look smart. They are the disciplines of the mind, the road every philosopher, warrior, and seeker of truth must travel. If you want to be wise, not to outshine others, but to understand yourself. Start here, start now, and keep going. Habit 1, ask the right questions. Everything begins with a question. Not how do I win, but what truly matters. Epictetus once said, you cannot learn what you think you already know. The most dangerous kind of ignorance is believing you are already wise. The more certain you are of your knowledge, the tighter you close the door to truth. There is a story small but unforgettable. Every afternoon when young Isidore R.A. came home from school, his mother never asked, did you get good grades or did you have fun? She asked only one thing. Did you ask a good question today? That single question shaped his entire life. From an ordinary boy, he grew into one of the greatest physicists of the century, a Nobel Prize winner. The mind that laid the foundation for the MRI. Why? Because he never lost his curiosity, that spark of wonder that most adults bury the moment they think they've figured life out. Children always ask why. Adults stop asking because they're afraid of looking foolish. But Socrates walked the streets of Athens not to lecture, but to ask. Asking doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful, because only when you admit you don't know do you begin to truly learn. The Stoics understood this deeply. The wise are never afraid to say, I don't know. So make it a daily habit. Ask, why am I doing this? Every morning ask, what am I missing? When you argue, ask, what if I am wrong when emotion takes over? You'll discover that wisdom doesn't live in the answers. It lives in the patience to sit with the unknown, because every truth begins with a question, and every mistake begins with the arrogance of thinking you already know. Habit 2, build a second brain. The human mind wasn't designed to store. It was designed to create, yet we force it to remember everything. Tasks, words, fears, emotions, ideas, and then wonder why we're exhausted. When Joan Diane was 5, her mother gave her a small notebook. For 82 years, she kept writing in those notebooks thousands of pages filled with thoughts, memories, and raw truth about being human. In one of them, she wrote, we write to understand what we were because writing is how the soul stays intact. General James Mattis did the same. He called them his books of wisdom, pages where he recorded lessons, mistakes, and words remembering. And when the moment came to make impossible decisions on the battlefield, those books guided him. Your brain isn't meant to hold everything. It is meant to think. So build yourself a second brain, a place to capture every idea, every lesson, every phrase that stirs something inside you, every mistake you never want to repeat. Don't let your insights vanish like smoke. The Romans had a saying, no one should read without taking notes. Writing is a conscious act. It tells your mind, this matters. Remember it? Marcus Aurelius did it too in Meditations. He didn't write for anyone else. He wrote to himself to remember who he was trying to become. When you write, you see your mind stripped bare, and when you read it back, you see how far you've come. So write not to impress the world, but so you never lose yourself. Habit 3, listen more than you speak. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once taught, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so we could listen twice as much as we speak. But today, the world has flipped that upside down. Everyone wants to talk. Few want to listen. Everyone wants to be understood. Yet so few try to understand. Among Zeno's students, Aristo loved to talk. Plinth, on the other hand, listened. And when Zeno died, he didn't pass his school to the talker. He gave it to the listener, because the listener learns what the talker never will. That silence is power. Just like Maya Angelou as a child, living in fear, barely speaking, simply listening to the world. She called herself a giant ear, listening to everything. Voices, breaths, rain, poetry, the hum of life itself. And that silence shaped her. It turned her into one of the greatest writers of her time because she understood how people spoke and how they thought. You learn the most when you stop trying to prove anything. So learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your mind. Listen to understand someone's fear. Listen to recognize the emotions within yourself. Listen to learn humility. Listen to understand, not to reply. Because everyone you meet knows something you don't. When you speak, you only repeat what you already know. But when you listen, you discover something new. Habit 4, Learn from your mistakes. No one walks the road to wisdom without stumbling, but the wise learn how to stumble differently. Lou Gehrig, a legend of baseball, was no natural-born genius. He trained through failure, through hundreds of dropped balls, demotions, and critics calling him stupid. But Gehrig had one rare habit. He never made the same mistake twice. He once said, "A fool isn't someone who makes a mistake, but someone who kicks the same stone twice." Today's world fears mistakes. We shrink from failure as if it defines us. But the Stoics knew better. There are no mistakes, only lessons not yet learned. The weak blame circumstance, the strong take responsibility. They learn, adapt, and move forward. Mistakes are gifts wrapped in pain. If you dare to open them, you'll always find wisdom inside. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, reminded himself every day, "If someone shows me I am wrong, I will be grateful because I seek truth, not victory." So the next time you fail, don't run from it. Write it down. Ask yourself, what did I learn? Then move on with tougher feet and a clearer mind. Wisdom doesn't live in success. Wisdom lives in how you rise after you fall. Habit 5, read history, not headlines. Millions of people start their day scrolling through the news and end it with a shattered mind. News isn't knowledge, it is addiction. The more you consume, the more chaotic the world feels, and the smaller you feel inside it. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Seneca said, "He who studies history lives many lives in one." But today, we're surrounded by fake history, trending topics, viral outrage, the illusion of being informed. We consume information the way we eat junk food, fast, excessive, and empty. If the first thing you do every morning is reach for your phone, scroll through news, podcasts, endless videos, ask yourself, what are you really learning from it? A wise person doesn't seek more information, they seek the right information. They study the past to understand the present. They read old books to navigate the modern world. Marcus Aurelius studied the lives of those before him, kings, generals, philosophers. He treated history as a mirror to see how to live, how to lead, how to endure pain. When you read Seneca, Marcus, or Plutarch, you realize something profound. Human nature hasn't changed in 2,000 years. We're still greedy, still afraid, still deceived by our own minds. So read what lasts, read to understand people, not just to chase headlines. You don't need to know everything that is happening right now. You only need to understand what always happens to humanity. Because every new problem you face today is just an old lesson disguised in modern clothes. Habit 6, cleanse your information diet. Picture this. Someone wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, turns on the television, scrolls through Twitter, listens to political commentary, watches viral clips, and convinces themselves they're staying informed. In truth, they're letting their mind be torn apart piece by piece, garbage in, garbage out. If you feed your mind trash, your mind becomes a landfill. Schopenhauer once said, "The art of not reading is just as important as the art of reading. Choose carefully. Just like with food, only consume what nourishes your intellect and your soul. Stop feeding on what makes you angry, envious, or anxious, because what you consume becomes who you are." Marcus Aurelius warned, "Don't chase every sound. Keep the oasis of your mind at peace." The wise don't absorb more information. They filter it. Ask yourself, does this information help me live better? Does it bring me peace or chaos? Does it come from real experience or just noise? The world will never slow down for you to think, so you must slow down to keep your ability to think. Filtering what you consume is the discipline of self-control, and in a world that never stops shouting, silence is wisdom. Habit 7, always remain a student. The final story is about Marcus Aurelius. One morning in Rome, people saw him leaving the palace, wax tablets in hand. A friend asked, "Where are you going, my emperor?" Marcus replied, "I am going to see Sextus to learn what I do not yet know." That was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world, still going to class. That is the image of true wisdom. Not a man who knows everything, but a man who knows he never will. Learning doesn't end when you earn a degree. It ends when you stop being curious. Epictetus was once a slave, yet became a philosopher.
Seneca was a statesman, yet questioned himself every day like a humble student. They understood this truth. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. So wherever you are, remain a student. Observe, write, listen, ask. Like Marcus, carry your own tablet each day, both in your hands and in your mind. Wisdom isn't a destination, it is a path, and only those who walk it with the spirit of a learner never stop moving forward. The Stoic doesn't seek to be flawless. He seeks the truth. He doesn't seek to avoid pain. He seeks peace within it. He doesn't seek to know everything. He seeks to know what he still doesn't know. It is a lifelong journey. one you are never meant to finish, because growth is the only form of eternity we ever touch. The final lesson, the road to true wisdom. Becoming wiser isn't a journey of adding more knowledge. It is a journey of letting go of illusion. You don't need to read 1,000 books or listen to every podcast. You just need to master a few simple things. Ask the right questions. Record what matters. Listen more than you speak. Learn from your mistakes. Filter what enters your mind, and stay forever a student of life. These 7 habits may seem small, but if you truly live by them, they will change you. You'll become calmer, clearer, harder to manipulate, and no longer a prisoner of the world's noise. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "No one can stop you from becoming better today except yourself." You don't need to change the world. Just change how you see it. Change how you listen, how you think, how you respond. And if you've been searching for a direction, choose this one. The Stoic path, the path of discipline, of reflection, of self-control. Because only when you have the courage to see what you still lack, can you finally begin to become complete. That is the essence of wisdom. And if this video brought you value, you can click the thanks button as a way to encourage us to create more valuable videos. Take a moment, breathe, and subscribe. Not for algorithms, but as a small commitment to your own growth, to join a community of thinkers, seekers, and builders of inner strength. And if you are ready to begin this journey, leave a simple comment below. I will practice one Stoic habit today, because wisdom doesn't begin with knowing, it begins with doing. Thank you for watching.